My name is Dave Tran, and this is LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the chiropractic student. We have chiropractor Dr. J. Komarek calling from Boulder, Colorado. He graduated from Western States in 1977. Dr. J, welcome to LuxTV.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's get straight to it. So, what is your chiropractic story? How did you get into chiropractic?
You know, I've been around chiropractic since I've been a child, and by child I mean a year old. My family were involved in chiropractic, my father and his two brothers. So I was surrounded by chiropractic, and that was my early beginning, and then continued just around, very passionate chiropractors.
Yeah, and then also your son is a chiropractor too, so yeah.
That's pretty thrilling. That's pretty She just got back from Peru.
Yeah, I saw that mission trip.
Yep.
Yeah. And then one of the things that you're definitely known for is animal chiropractic. So why should students check out animal chiropractic?
Animal chiropractic really demonstrates the response of physiology when an adjustment is given. So on the learning end, you get to learn a great deal about how responsive a human structure, human physiology, energetic patterns respond to chiropractic, and its benefits the chiropractic end in that people get to watch something pure. So a force is delivered into an area that we refer to, the subluxation, and then an individual is watching that, and they can see an immediate change. We don't necessarily see that with people, but it's not that it doesn't happen, but with animals, it's very, very immediate.
Yeah.
So individuals get to watch that. It benefits chiropractic in the greater sense, and that people grasp the concept when we start to talk about it with animals.
Yeah. So did you grow up with animals, or how did you get originally started?
I grew up in Texas early on, and I was at rodeos when I was a really young kid, and I saw horses getting adjusted early on in my life. And I knew immediately, I was 7 or 8, when I watched an animal get adjusted. My father was adjusting small animals, and his best friend was adjusting horses. And I knew that was something. I was in love with horses as a young kid, and I knew that's where I was headed. And at a very, very early age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then were you pretty much destined to become a chiropractor, or?
No, I think so. I think I was born to it. I spoke to it just a few minutes ago, that when you're surrounded by people who love what they do, there was something exciting. I admired my father. I admired his brothers. And I was watching something, pretty amazing. They were passionate and always talking about the principle and philosophy of chiropractic. And so I think I was born to it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So was Austin destined to, or did you kind of nudge him?
Well, no, I really stayed out of it. I always told him, do what you love to do. And I told him, and it was actually Austin who came to me at age, I think he was 24, but he had kind of traveled the world and was on his own. And then he eventually came to me, but I really made an effort to let him find it. And it was something I consciously did, that I didn't want to jam it down his throat. He got to watch me doing animals and people, and I figured if he was moved to do it, he would do it, and he did.
Yeah, and then so you are teaching animal chiropractic as well too, or are you on practice full time, or?
I do a little bit of everything. I'm 60 years old. I've had I've had an amazing career in chiropractic with both animals and people, both. And now I do what I like to do. I teach. I love to go speak. Teach. I love to watch people as they're watching an animal adjusted, and they watch an immediate change, especially with horses. It's it's awe-inspiring. It's something that when you witness it, you realize, oh, that was an immediate shift in the energetics and the nervous system and the autonomic nervous system of an animal.
Yeah. Do you have a special or a favorite testimony about animal chiropractic at all?
Oh, geez, there are so many. I have a lot with horses, with dogs. We just had a dog that was ataxic. And, I don't like talking about symptomatology, because then people think, oh, you take your animal or your horse or your person chiropractic is about liberating the subluxation and
Mm.
letting the mental impulse, do its thing. And so we're removing the interference to this expression. And it so happens concurrent with that, many, many times symptoms resolve themselves. And so we just had a dog, a very well-known dog that was paralyzed from the waist down and received an adjustment to C5 and regained its function.
Oh, wow.
Which is, that's happened on many occasions with horses, lame horses that receive an adjustment and then are restored to normal function as a byproduct of the correction. That's not the reason we do what we do, but it was just a positive side effect of the correction of subluxation.
Yeah. And then, one of the things that, I remember, first hearing about chiropractic for animals, I was just like, I was almost like kind of shocked, in the beginning, but then after it kind of sunk in, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. I mean, they have spines, they have a nervous system, so it just kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's when you're adjusting an animal, it's a pure experience. They don't grasp the concept of placebo. People do. So we have that issue dealing with people who are questioning what's happening. But with an animal, I'm not having a conversation about subluxation. I'm introducing a force. There's an energetic exchange. There's a response. And we have parameters that we're looking for in an animal, and we're watching that. And the owner is watching that as well, especially people who are very attuned to horses, which is the bulk of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of show dogs, and those people are very attuned to motion and movement and physiology. So it's wonderful in that we've gotten the dialogue out of the way of what we're doing, and they're getting to witness something in an energetic sense is the only way I can put it.
Yeah. So what character traits do you find make a good animal chiropractor?
Oh, you got to get your head out of it. I always say in order to adjust the horse, you can't be in your head. That's the wrong tool for the job. So it's definitely a heart thing. It's a feeling thing where you have to feel your way into tone, which is really, where we really get the sense tone is with animals, and we're seeing that change immediately. So it's a tonal thing in terms of feel.
Yeah, and then you mentioned adjusting dogs and adjusting horses. So like, is it a completely different tract, or is it one of those things where you just have to?
Quadrupeds have physiology that's the same. The physiology is the same. The mental impulse is the same. They do have structural issues that we don't necessarily see as much with people. So in the way of fixations, not the subluxation, but horses, especially due to shoes and bridles and saddles, and riders on top of horses' backs have issues that bring about not only this interference, but these biomechanical issues that we would refer to as fixations. And those we wind up addressing many times with horses. So that's, they're same. All the quadrupeds are very similar.
Gotcha. And do you find yourself where people are seeking you out, or is it one of those things that where you have to, if somebody comes to you and do you have to kind of explain everything, or is it one of those things where people just come?
People come. I think that's one of the benefits of students. You had asked earlier how would it benefit a student? A student is that you're able to get started with animals much quicker in my experience with animals than you are with people. Mm-hmm. That there is a huge demand for what I do. So there's you couldn't keep up with. I can't keep up with the demand for horses or dogs. That if you wanted to be doing horses 7 days a week, morning, noon, and night, you can be and make a very comfortable living. Doing that. And there's a limited supply of me. Of people do what I do. So I get calls from all over, and it's nice. There's a huge demand for what we do.
Yeah, and I also saw that you are a star of a recent documentary called Love Bomb. Now, could you talk a little bit about that and what your experience was being a part of that?
Well, my son and his now wife, Rhea Zimmerman Komarek, Rhea went on a mission to, to express her feelings about chiropractic and share that with the world. And there was a rhyme and reason as to how she went about and why she did it. And I was part of that, and in terms of being interviewed, again, about telling the story in a different venue. In many ways, we haven't been successful in expressing what chiropractic is about, and now we have people finding new ways, the way you're doing it now through this program. And Rhea did it through a movie called Love Bomb, and it's great. And we're learning how to do that and to do it well. And we haven't nailed it down, but we're doing a good job of figuring out different ways to communicate the value of chiropractic worldwide. And it's awesome. Yeah.
That's a great way to phrase it, because, it's a universal language, love. And then, it just so happens that, with Rhea, she hopped on a plane, I'm trying to do YouTube, and then you're working with animals as well too. So that's great.
It's good. We have a wonderful profession. We've got a lot of kinks to iron out, but the principle is sound. The philosophy is rock solid. The delivery system, we have a delivery system if we stay on track with the principle and the philosophy, and we have a lot of people to help us to keep it solid. Yeah. So we have a lot of great resources in chiropractic.
For sure. And lastly, what would be your greatest advice for a chiropractic student?
Study. Study hard, and get yourself with good mentors. We have great mentors in the profession. I would say the first thing I would say is study our history, and we have Simon Senzon. And I would say study the history. That when you understand the history and you understand what people went through to get us this far along, if you're well grounded there, then you're more likely to lean into chiropractic than lean out. Mm-hmm. And we have Christopher Kent, you have Matthew McCoy, you have really great people as far as sound. Joe Strauss, read all of Joe Strauss's books. And then we have people too, is when they get out, as far as staying on track business-wise, it's very, very difficult to succeed unless you're well grounded in your business skills. And we have Mark Swerdlick out there who has got a rock solid program to help people not make big mistakes out of the gate. And so we have quite a few. Rob Sinnott, read his book. But I would say stay close to the principle. Stay close to the principle, and then you're almost you're not guaranteed success, but you won't be far from it. If you don't get grounded in the philosophy, you don't get grounded in our history, you'll be floundering out there for a while. And I've watched that over 37 years. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah. So, Dr. J, thank you so much for sharing your light with us today.
Oh, thank you. It's a joy. Great joy for me to do it.
Yeah. If you want more information or want to connect with Dr. J directly, check out the links below. Every week, I will be uploading a new interview with another leader in the chiropractic profession. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. My name is Dave Tran, and this was LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the